Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's Miss Stormy. I hope everybody's weekend went well. To all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. I hope you had a wonderful, relaxing, calm Sunday. Hopefully that all worked out for you. I thought I'd start off this week with a story. So I decided to read a book called Extra Yarn. It's a Caldecott Honor book. It was written by Marc Barnett, illustrated by Jon Klassen. I wonder what the story is going to be about. The back says, "This looks like an ordinary box full of ordinary yarn, but it turns out it isn't. I wonder what makes this box of yarn special." So let's read the story. Front cover, back cover, and what's this? The spine. Good job, you got it. We have our title page. It has all of the same information as the front cover. Let's get reading, okay? Now imagine it's cold outside. I know for all of my friends that live where I live in sunny South Florida, it's pretty hot. Today it's, kind of a mild day. It's really nice, but imagine that you're in the cold while I'm reading you this story, okay? Just pretend. On a cold afternoon in a cold little town where everywhere you looked was either the white of snow or the black of soot from chimneys, Annabelle found a box filled with yarn of every color. So her name is Annabelle. She's a character in the story. Remember that word, characters. So she went home and knit herself a sweater. And when Annabelle was done, she had some extra yarn. Oh, extra yarn, just like the title. So she knit a sweater for Mars too. But there was still extra yarn. What do you think she's gonna do? And when Annabelle and Mars went for a walk, Nate pointed and laughed and said, "You two look ridiculous." "You're just jealous," said Annabelle. "No, I'm not," said Nate. Is it nice to laugh and point at people? But it turned out he was. It was nice of her. He was laughing and pointing at her, and look what she did. She knit him a sweater. And it looks like she knit a little blanket for his dog. And even after she'd made a sweater for Nate and his dog, and for herself and for Mars, she still had extra yarn. At school, Annabelle's classmates could not stop talking about her sweater. "Quiet!" Actually, he shouted the word "quiet!" Right? Do you see an exclamation point after the word "quiet"? That means you're supposed to read it with emotion. "Quiet!" shouted Mr. Norman. "Quiet, everyone. Annabelle, that sweater of yours is a terrible distraction. I cannot teach with everyone turning around to look at you." "Then I'll knit one for everyone," Annabelle said, "so they won't have to turn around." "Impossible," said Mr. Norman. "You can't." Do you like it when somebody tells you you can't do something? I don't like it. But it turned out she could. And she did. Even for Mr. Norman. Look at that. She keeps doing nice things even for people who maybe aren't so nice to her. That shows good character. And when she was done, Annabelle still had extra what? Extra yarn. Oh my gosh. So she knit sweaters for her mom and dad, and for Mr. Pendleton and Mrs. Pendleton, and for Dr. Palmer, and for little Lewis. Wow, that's nice of her. She's talented. I do not know how to knit. I wish I did. Maybe I can learn. She made sweaters for everyone except Mr. Crabtree, who never wore sweaters or even long pants, and who would stand in his shorts with the snow up to his knees. "No sweater for me, thanks," said Mr. Crabtree. So she made Mr. Crabtree a hat And even then, Annabelle still had extra yarn. She made sweaters for all the dogs and all the cats and for other animals too. Soon Annabelle will run out of yarn. But it turned out she didn't. So Annabelle made sweaters for things that didn't even wear sweaters. What are some things in this picture that are wearing sweaters that normally wouldn't have a sweater on it? Do you see anything? The birdhouse. Even the bird has a sweater. And the mailbox. And the people house. They all have sweaters. Things began to change in that little town. Look at what she's doing. She's spreading her kindness all around town. She's spreading her kindness by knitting different types of sweaters to keep everything nice and warm and toasty when it's cold outside. News spread of this remarkable girl who never ran out of yarn, and people came to visit from around the world to see all the sweaters and to shake Annabelle's hand. One day, an archduke who was very fond of clothes sailed across the sea and demanded to see Annabelle. "Little girl," said the archduke, "I would like to buy that miraculous box of yarn, and I am willing to offer you $1 million. Oh my gosh, $1 million? Is that a lot? That's a lot." "No, thank you," said Annabelle, who was knitting a sweater for a pickup truck. She used her manners and said no thank you. How come you think she's going to say no thank you to $1 million? Do you know how much candy you could buy with $1 million? Or how many books you could buy? Or how many Legos? Why would she say no thank you? The Archduke's mustache twitched. $2 million, he said. Annabelle shook her head. "No thanks." $10 million, shouted the Archduke. "Take it or leave it." "Leave it," said Annabelle. "I won't sell the yarn." And she didn't. The yarn must be very special to her, right? So that night the Archduke hired 3 robbers. Robbers to break into Annabelle's house. Oh, no, 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 that is not nice. And they stole the box and took it to the Archduke, who set off across the snow and sailed over the sea. Oh, no. That is a big time. No, no, no. He took it back to his castle. The Archduke put on his favorite song and sat in his best chair. Then he took out the box and he lifted its lid and he looked inside. Guess what happened? It ran out of yarn. His mustache quivered, it shivered, it trembled. The Archduke hurled the box out the window and shouted, "Little girl, I curse you with my family's curse. You will never be happy again." That's not very nice. But, oh, it's on an iceberg and it's sailing. And it's sailing, let's see. Oh, she found the box. It turned out she was. Oh, it turned out she still was happy. So, let's see. In this picture, the trees did not have yarn on them. But in this picture, they did. But I thought the box of yarn was empty. So why do you think, and this is just Miss Stormy's opinion of the story, because I'm looking back through and I don't see any sweaters on any of the trees in the story. And the Archduke stole the box of yarn, right? Because it never ran out, because Annabelle kept knitting and knitting and knitting. And he wanted that yarn and he was willing to pay her $1 million and then $2 million and then $10 million. And she said no. And he opened the box and the box was empty. But when she found the box, it was full. Why do you think that is? Maybe this is her kindness and her happiness, and the box only works when you're happy and kind and nice. And the Archduke was not so nice and kind. He was just greedy. He just wanted it because it was special and different. But Annabelle knew there was a trick to getting all that yarn to keep coming out, right? The yarn represents maybe her kindness. She's willing to spread it around all over, regardless of people that might laugh at her or yell at her or make fun of her or try to steal it from her. Nobody can steal your kindness, right? Kindness is always in your heart. And as long as you keep it there and you keep your character, right? A character could be a person in a story, or an animal can be a character in a story. That's one type of character. And then you have your own character, which is kind of like who you are as a person. Be like Annabelle. Spread that kindness around. She knitted things for her neighborhood when it was cold outside. But there's lots of different things that you can do to spread your yarn, your kindness yarn around, right? So I hope you like the story. It's open to interpretation, but I think the yarn was her kindness, and no one, not even the Archduke with all of his millions of dollars, could take her kindness. I hope you like the story. I hope you guys have a great day. I love you all. Enjoy your day. Get outside. Have some fun. Spread your kindness all around town. I'll talk to you later. Love you. Love you. Love you, love you, love you. Bye.